So here we're looking at a refresher / bell work before you start working on factoring to solve worksheet 2. So the first problem here, we've got 3x times the quantity x plus 4 equals 0. This has already been factored for you. They actually factored as GCF, and they just want you to practice solving this. So what that means is you're going to set each of these quantities equal to 0 using the zero product property. So you've got 3x equals 0 and x plus 4 equals 0. 3x equals 0 just means x equals 0. X plus 4 just means you'd subtract 4, so x equals negative 4. So these would be your two solutions. Question 2, you've got x squared plus 7x equals 9x plus 8. First thing we have to do is put this back into standard form. And to do that, we're going to subtract over the 9x and subtract over the 8. And so this is going to give us an entirely new equation. It's going to be x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0. Then we're going to factor this. Since our leading coefficient is 1, we're looking for two numbers that multiply to be negative 8 but add to be negative 2. So that's going to be negative 4, positive 2. So your factored form is x minus 4 and x plus 2 equals 0. We'll set each portion equal to 0 and solve. So x equals 4, x equals negative 2 are your two answers. Question 3, this time we have a leading coefficient in front of our x squared, which is the 4 here. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to use both slide divide and the AC method, so that way you can make sure you have options. The first one I'll do is I'll just go ahead and do slide divide first because it seems to be the most popular. 4x squared minus 11x plus 7 equals 0. So we're going to slide it back. We take the 4, we slide it back through multiplication times the 7. So this becomes x squared minus 11x plus 28 equals 0. Now we just need to factor this. Two factors of 28 that add up to be negative 11 would be negative 4, negative 7. So x minus 4, x minus 7 equals 0. Then we need to divide by the coefficient, which in this case was 4. And so if it divides evenly, you can go ahead and divide it. So x minus 1 is our first quantity. If it does not, you slide it back out in front. So 4x minus 7 equals 0. So now to solve this, you're going to set each portion equal to 0 and solve. So 4x minus 7 equals 0, x minus 1 equals 0. For x minus 1, you add 1, so x equals 1. For 4x minus 7, you would add 7. So you've got 4x equals 7, divide by 4, x equals 7/4. And then we'll move on to the AC method, which we should get the same answer, but remember the AC method is a little longer. So with the AC method, you're taking 4 times 7, so that's 28, so AC is 28. And when you find the two factors that need to replace the negative 11, well, that's negative 7, negative 4, you're going to rewrite your equation. So you've got 4x squared minus 7x minus 4x plus 7 equals 0. Or this is also called the grouping method. So you group the first two terms and your last two terms. So here, 4x squared and 7x have only x in common, so you take an x out. So you're left with 4x squared, or not 4x squared, 4x minus 7. The other quantity, the only thing they have in common, in this case to make it match, is negative 1. So you've got 4x minus 7. This is the point where your two GCFs come together. So you've got x minus 1 is your first quantity, and then your repeat is your other. So 4x minus 7 equals 0. At this point, we notice that our factored forms are the same, so we're going to get the same answers. So x equals 1, x equals 7/4. Ta-da! And that's the factoring refresher. So go ahead and start worksheet 2 for factoring to solve.